Alright, last episode of Yukiko's castle, excluding the final boss of the dungeon. I'm going to stop at times and let the video play, and I'll talk about what happened afterwards. And in the last section, I'm going to talk about how the rest of the grinding went. Basically, thought process and why I did what I did, and how I came to those conclusions. So in the previous episode, I mentioned about recognizing that Fornius was possibly a good idea, and me deciding that I wanted to go for it. So I'm going to show, first and foremost, me making Fornius, and this wasn't the first time, but this was the time that I actually, saved, and the result wasn't particularly different. So here's me making Fornius at the Velvet Room. Nice. This next section here is pretty much just going to be me making it up to floor 8, and the way I do it is very much expected in that I was saying earlier, I have no idea how to stay alive. So I do what I do best and run from battles, and that's about it. As a result, feel free to skip that section if you want, but you can also just see me slowly kind of moseying my way up to the 8th floor without fighting any real battles. I will say though that I made a hilariously bad decision at one point, but it felt very incomplete to not include this stuff, so as a result, this is what we end up with. First, however, you get to enjoy my complete and utter failure at actually trying to go through those floors without avoiding enemies, and I think I successfully killed, I don't know, 1, 2 of the sets of the encounters. It's basically just a death montage, and some of the deaths were actually kind of funny. It's just like, I could win this, and then the game's like, nah, things like that. Just kind of how things go sometimes. Like, I don't know what you're supposed to do about a situation where you could easily win a fight, and then you just get 2 misses in a row into the enemy using an AoE, and then immediately, was it a crit or was it a, I think it was probably a Miragi, because I think it hit Chie super effectively. Immediately the one enemy goes in and uses like a double fangs on me or something, and now I'm dead from full. Very, very silly. I couldn't help but just laugh at what happened to me. It's just so typical, and yet just so dumb. On the bright side, now that she actually had a single magical damaging skill, things became just a tad easier. I could finally hit a weakness that required Bufu. Like, wow. Twice. it's kind of ridiculous how annoyed I got when I was completely out of SP on both Iwo and on Yosuke, and Chie was just sitting there full SP, and I was just like, I can't use this. It's a wasted resource. It just felt so bad, and it finally felt so good that I could finally use just a little bit, and when I was getting those recoveries, hey, I was finally actually healing SP on Chie. Wow. Honestly, that's really all I have to say, but there's still about a minute left of footage, so just enjoy the song that's playing in the background.
A rare monster! Beat the stuffing out of it! 3 more enemies! Grin and bear it! Oh, there! Now's your chance to run!
I can barely move. Do something. I can't keep going.
It seems strong, but I'm sure you'll win. Yosuke's in danger! Oh, there! Now's your chance to run!
I'm seriously tired.
Nope. That's just an okay.
I can't keep going. Can we call it a day?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, so this game doesn't give you the save right in front of the boss. This game. Oops. So I can't quick travel here. Mini is not on. Alright, let's actually get some grinding done. Somehow the portion of this video that I actually have a lot to say for is shorter than the middle section of it, right? Anyway, instead of wasting my time as a result, let's go ahead and say that the rest of the footage that you're not going to be seeing after this, what I do is I grind a bunch on the first floor, and I get to level, I think, 7, everybody, and I decide to try out the boss fight. And as it turns out, Fornius is not a good plan. Not at all. And not close, not even close. And so what I did was I went into the Velvet Room, and I decided to look at my options. And what I found was that there is a persona named Senri, which you can get at level 9, that nulls fire. And I'm like, well, that should be good enough. I'm getting level 9, and I'm going in to fight Yukiko. And of course, wasn't really quite that simple. But I did decide after, I think, a small test run with Senri that 988 would be good enough to beat the boss. And so, next episode, you'll see what I decided to leave myself at in order to fight the boss at the beginning of the next stream that I had. What is kind of funny though is, as I was grinding up, I was getting tons and tons of endurance up cards, and by the time I got to level 9, I was thinking to myself, shouldn't I just try doing this with Fornius again? I have like 22 endurance or something at this point, like kind of insane. And I believe I'll show off the actual point at which the experience was at the beginning of the next episode, but you're not gonna see it in any of these clips because that was towards the end of the grinding, of course, you know, when I was getting towards level 9 in order to get that persona. I was trying to keep myself sane by, you know, talking to my friends as I was grinding and things. I found stuff to do. It was fine. Now, of course, I rushed myself through everything I wanted to say, and I still ended up with extra time at the end, so, what else is there to say other than Fornius is kind of great, and I hope to bring him back in the future, if only because because of the ridiculous stats that I have on the now registered version of Fornius. The other thing I want to mention is the social links that are available to you in the coming days after this include a social link for the Sun Arcana, and you'll see the option I have of creating a Sun persona, except it's level 10 and I'm level 9 at the end of all of this, so I was never able to make it. And that sort of impedes progress a little bit as I go further in, but it's not that big a deal. I can wait out the extra dungeon in order to start leveling up the Sun. Yeah, just the Sun. Leveling up the Sun. Anyway, that's it.